aren't. Okay, now let's go get to the Jim Cramer thing. This is 2.5 minutes long. Well, it's 12 minutes long, but I can't play the whole thing. First he says it's legal, then later he says it's illegal, and this has been looked at. Now, we broke this Monday. We discovered this and broke this Monday or Tuesday, and then I saw it on Fox News, of all places, Friday. I'm in the office, got the big TV on with the audio off, and they're covering this. And, of course, he's got a show on CNBC. And he's admitting how they short the markets, and if they've already shorted them, how they go in and spend $20 million sometimes to make sure a stock does go down. Okay, this is standard operating procedure, only one area. Here it is.
Welcome to Wall Street Confidential. I'm Aaron Task, joined again by Jim Cramer. Jim, welcome.
Good to see you.
Thanks for being here. There's a lot of economic data out today, but I want to talk about something else first. Again, today we have the misdirection from the futures. The futures pointing to an up market, and as of right now, stocks are down again. Is this just because it's the holiday period that we're seeing this?
You know, a lot of times when I was short at my hedge fund and I was positioned short, meaning I needed it down, I would create a level of activity beforehand that could drive the futures. It doesn't take much money. Similarly, if I were long and I would want to make things a little bit rosy, I would go in and take a bunch of stocks and make sure that they're higher, and maybe commit $5 million in capital to do it, and I could affect it. What you're seeing now is it probably is bigger market now. Maybe you need $10 million in capital to knock this stuff down, but it's a fun game and it's a lucrative game, and you can move it up and then fade it. That's often creates a very negative feel. So let's say you take a longer term view intraday. And you say, listen, I'm going to boost the futures, and then when the real sellers come in, real market comes in, they're going to knock it down. It's going to create a negative view. That's a strategy very worth doing when you're valued on a day-to-day basis. And I would encourage anyone who's in the hedge fund game to do it because it's legal,
right?
And it is a very quick way to make money.
It is not legal.
Very satisfying.
Okay.
Well, by the way, no one else in the world would ever admit that, but I can care.
That's right, and you can say that here.
I can't. I'm not going to say it on TV.
Well, on a related note, there's so many more hedge funds today than when you were managing your hedge fund. Do you think does that exacerbate the moves, or does it make it tougher?
You know, the hedge funds are positioned long-short, okay, not just long like mutual funds. So it's really vital these next 6 days because of your payday. You've really got to control the market. You can't let it lift. When you get a research in motion, it's really important to use a lot of your firepower to knock that down because it's the fulcrum of the market today. So let's say I were short. What I would do is I would hit a lot of guys with RIM. Now, you can't foment. That's a violation of
foment?
Yeah, you can't foment. You can't create yourself an impression that a stock's down. But you do it anyway because the SEC doesn't understand it. So, that's the only sense that I would say this is illegal. But a hedge fund that's not up a lot really has to do a lot now to save itself. So.
I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And it talks about how they set people up who are coming into the market, how they use you, how they screw you. But here's an example. The stock market's still at around 12,000. They've doubled the money supply the last six years, so the stock market's really at around 6,000. See, these are 101 simple financial numbers. But you watch CNN, you watch CNBC, you watch Fox, Cavuto's World, all this. They've got one brand of financial news for you, and then if you really want to know what's going on, you can go research it and find it out somewhere else. And it's sad. And you've got all these good old boys around here locally, where I live in Austin, who think they know everything about it. And I always watch them get their shirt taken. You know, they may make $5-10 million, and they're real arrogant. Next time you see them, they're living in a 2-room apartment, working at H-E-B, working at the grocery store, which is fine. I mean, my point is, you think you know it all, you don't know it all. And there's a lot out there, America, you need to discover. So much of what you think you know about this country is a joke, okay? So just stop thinking that you're living in a free country. If we set about getting our free country back, because some of it's still left, we can save the country. But we have to admit how bad it's gotten. Okay, let's take some final calls here. Lindsay in California, you want to talk about info about a protest. Okay, tell us about it.